What is up, everyone? Welcome back to AoS R&D with Rob and Dale. We're just kind of doing like a fun, chill show tonight, right, Dale?
We are both
I wasn't
in
gonna,
in
I wasn't gonna say that.
so basically like Rob's had a hard 2 weeks and like I just started a new job on Monday and it's just
Yeah.
been like meeting after meeting after meeting people and so much socializing and getting up at like 6 again in the morning and I am just like walking the dog in the morning, coming back from work and like just doing it 2 days now. I'm already so drained for this week just because I'm out of practice. Like by next week I'll be fine. So I have wine and we're gonna wing through this great. It's gonna be lovely.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we just wanted to. I mean, like this was always the plan, though. To be fair,
Yep.
um, last week we were like, or I was like, what do you want to do next week? And Dale said, why don't we talk about the year? Because we're at
Yeah,
the
was
end,
like
we're at the end of the year, and we know everything that's going to come out by the end of the
yep.
year, right? I didn't pull up the Yo
Hello,
Keith,
Keith.
what's going on, man? Um, I didn't pull up the what's it called, like the thing that's coming out at the end of the year, like which is like the cursed city
Sleep.
boxes. They're
Oh yeah,
reprinting
yeah.
them and
No,
like
no, we're just gonna cover the Age of Sigma stuff and
yeah. I
the
mean, it is
40K.
kind of AOS, like,
But you don't get any miniatures, so it's kind of meh.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, so I bought Curse City when it came out, and then I bought,
Because you had great models.
yeah, no, for sure, and
Yeah.
I love it, and I think it's a really fun game. But then the second I bought the expansion when it came out, the first expansion, but I didn't buy the second one. I wasn't wowed by it. Um, but I don't know. I can't decide. So I need to make up my mind on whether, because like once
Maybe.
it's gone, man. Like this is the last chance, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, so we've got a rumor engine, Dale, and
So I was having a look at this
yes, me too. Okay,
just now.
okay, yeah. I was just I
and
looked at it this
and
morning.
it looks a lot like the axe you get in Darktide.
Yes. So
Like one of the axes you get.
I was gonna say that the handle looks like the handle of my Space Marine stuff.
Hmm.
But I wanted to point something out about this. Why it might not be a 40k thing. It might. I think it's a 40k thing, but but see the hammery bit on the back.
Hmm.
I wonder if it's like a Cities of Sigmar thing.
Could be.
I don't
Yeah.
normally guess Cities of Sigmar, but
I think the weird thing about it is the fact that it's a sheathed axe.
it's a sheath
So
axe.
that's probably going to be on someone's belt
It
or
probably
something.
is. It probably is. Like, I actually kind of hope it's a Space Wolf thing. Um,
Maybe, yeah. I kind of hope. I think if it's Space Wolf, you might see more like wolf pelts, unless it's going to be on the handle end.
well,
Uh,
yeah, like if it's just on on like their yeah on their belt, then
yeah.
yeah.
I would love to say it's a Dark Tide kill team or something, where they're going to have like an
Oh,
ogre, a psycho, a preacher, and
oh,
a
that would
gunsman.
be sick,
Just because,
actually.
like, why would you know this game was being produced and not release a because even like Todd McFarlane's the ones that do the plastic Space Marines and stuff,
Yeah.
they've brought out an ogre and the sharpshooter, and I think the other two
Oh,
are in process, the
oh,
Psyker and the
cool.
Free.
Yeah,
So
they
it's
come
kind
out
of
in
like,
waves, right?
yeah, it's like this game's just come out and it's been a big hit,
Yeah.
and it's like, why wouldn't you have just done like a little kill team? Even if it's not like good in game, just some cool miniatures people could use for different armies or something. But
Yeah,
it's
like
kind of
they did
like,
with the Rogue Trader box with the
yeah,
Geller Pox guys and whatever, and the
just
Rogue Trader
trying
crew.
here to figure out if the axe would actually come out of the sheath. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that's the
I
weird
think
thing.
it's
You
supposed
kind
to
of
be a snap that you pull out. Like I have I have a couple of axes with sheaths
mhm.
on them, and but I think they both come out the bottom. But I maybe not. Actually, no. I think one of them comes up the top like that.
The whole thing is like, hang on a second,
Yeah,
clip, undo, health and safety, clip,
yeah.
quick
I mean,
safety.
well, it's just a snap. You just flip off the snap and pull it out. I think, but yeah. I think it's a 40k thing just based on the handle. I've painted a lot of Space Wolf and Space Marine handles, and the handle looks exactly like the oh, what's it called?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I mean, I'd love it to be like KO or Duaden or something. I just get the feeling
It
it's gonna
could
be.
be because it's just a
Yeah,
CAD file at the end of the day, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's
So
over the top of the axe blade and behind the bottom of. Yeah, yeah. It looks like it's very
I think you
encased
just
in the
yeah
front.
pull it out
So
from the head.
unless the other side of it is just blank and it's like
Oh,
the
wait a
axe head,
minute.
so it's just kind of like the
Oh,
tip of it's being
you know
kept in on
what?
one side.
No, but I think I guess you pull it out and back. Yeah, honestly, Keith, you are actually you
Yeah.
missed that. I missed that. I mean to say,
Yeah.
you're actually totally right. That's a terrible design unless it's like stretchy fabric.
Well, that's it. So the other, I have seen axes where one side is the protective covering
Yeah,
and the other side is just the metal axe, but because the tip of it is in the cover,
yeah,
so then basically if you pop the top off, you just turn it sideways and it'll come out because that other side is bare metal. It's not covered.
it's true.
But
I mean,
it doesn't look like that in the picture, but yeah.
this is what happens when you have model designers that have never
Yeah.
used the thing in question. Like I love the models, the eliminators for Space Marines or the sniper guys, but every one of them that's holding it, he's holding his eye like up to the freaking like actual scope, and it's like no, no, you sir have clearly never shot an actual rifle before. Yeah, that would just smash him in the face every time. But but um,
In the dark, grim dark universe of 40K, there is no recoil.
there is no recoil. I
There
mean,
is no
like
recoil.
I can see that on like there is like a scout gun that fires like needle guns, like
Yeah.
needle, but like still like like why would you need to put your eye right up to it in the far flung future as well? But the eliminators they have clearly have recoil as well. They're a bolt. I forget what they're called. Bolt rifle, something. I can't remember. Anyway, bolt sniper rifle I want to say, but anyway, it looks it's kind honestly I don't mind this preview. Sometimes the previews are kind of not as good. I actually think this is one of the better ones, um, even if it's a 40k thing. So next, honestly, this is I really think this thing is cool. We've got the Carry On King, right? Um, so
Carry on my
he's an
wayward
alternate sculpt, I
king.
believe, for the Arch Revenant. I forgot to like look up what the name is. Aberrant Ghoul King with Crown of Delusion. So I wonder if that's going to be like an artifact in the new book, right? And this is actually really good news because, and I didn't think about this until literally just now, but if FEC was are just getting a single hero in a box set, then why are they bringing this guy out now? Right? Like, doesn't it mean that they're getting like something more, like maybe like two or three, like a Sylvaneth style release? I don't know.
Unless he's going to be connected to a Black Library novel or something. Because we
But
just had the Black
but
Library,
yeah,
the Black Library preview, and they didn't actually show
no,
any kind of miniatures like they did last time.
yeah, exactly.
So
But when they did Kato and the KO
I'm
guy,
supposed to show the book.
they literally said like this is going to be connected with a book, so get ready, kind of deal. I mean, I don't know. I just think that like if they're coming out with this guy now, then when they get a release, I think it's going to be, totally, Alex. Like Alex just said, it's a time commemorative release, and it is. Like you're absolutely right. But like if they're not getting, I mean, I guess minimum then they're getting another. They're just getting another hero in the box set. I just feel
Well,
like
they're not going to have a box set.
oh man, if they don't get a box set and they only get this guy,
Well, I mean, we don't know if Beasts of Chaos and Gates are getting a box set.
Beasts of Chaos,
Because Beasts of
we
Chaos
still
and
don't
Gits are
know.
next, and we've
Yeah,
seen the Gits Wolf Riders and the Zarbags, and we
yeah.
saw that one hero for Beasts of Chaos, but we didn't see anything about a box set or anything.
It's true. I wonder if they were
So
just tiding people over kind of deal.
maybe.
You know, this will play into what we're going to talk about a little later. I love this sculpt though. Um, I had a friend, and I won't mention his name, but he had the idea of putting like wheels on it and making it into like a little wheelchair. Um, that makes more
But
sense if you think about it.
maybe he is so delusional
Yeah.
he can manifest a chair out of
Yeah.
nowhere, which he can physically sit on, even though to everyone else he's squatting or
I
something.
mean, if you're not going to go the wheelchair route, I personally prefer the idea that he just picks up his chair and runs around, slaps it down. He's like, okay. And then he sits down and he's like
Yeah, there
lazily,
is no chair.
fighting. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys are definitely more into the spirit of FEC. I think that FEC are the second most original creation GW has ever come up with. And so I actually really hope that they do expand their
Maybe he just
their
sits in
line.
the field. he just
Yeah,
the throne's there, and that's his kingdom,
he
and
has.
he just sits there waiting for like this caravan to come past to
What if
and they'll be
it's
like, ah, we can get them because they're in our territory.
what if it's got the screaming bell rule and he can only be moved when there's
Yeah,
like a certain amount of like at least four other ghouls nearby? Or what if what would be so
or
sick?
two of the
Or
crypt horrors or something.
or two flayers, and then if it's the flayers nearby, he can fly.
Yeah,
That would be so dope. Oh, I'd love that.
it kind of gives off a little bit of like, I don't know, Conan the Barbarian, or King
Totally.
Conan
Yeah. Did you not
meets
see that?
Skeletor or something.
Did you not see that picture?
No, which
Oh,
one?
someone literally put on the I think it was the FEC Facebook page, like, because some people don't like it, and that's fine. Like, not everything's for everyone. But someone put on the FEC page like, hey, I know everyone doesn't like this, but or a lot of people don't like it, but I love this kind of Conan the Barbarian, and like that's the exact same pose. And considering we know GW is very aware of Conan the Barbarian because of their contrast like preview.
Well,
Uh,
supposedly in 2025 they're releasing a King Conan film with Arnold.
oh what?
Yeah, there was some mock-up pictures out the other day.
Oh shoot.
Uh,
I mean, I did like Conan, so
the
I
worn-out, cool-looking crown and
yeah.
sword are awesome. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like it. I like the fact he's kind of got these like two bone knives sticking out of his pecs, kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like, I
like
need these knives to go somewhere.
he's
Stab.
really into
Ah, I feel no
piercing.
pain.
I like how big the sword is. I wish they had just more big swords on like, you know what I mean? Like Kato has one too, but um, yeah, I'll probably put this guy in the background when we get done talking about some of the other bits. But yeah, I think this is dope. I'm a little bit sad that I sold my FEC, but I don't know when I was gonna get around to it. I need to paint more Soulblight Gravelords before I get to them. So yeah. Anyway, actually, my favorite conversion I've ever done is like two FEC things that I've never shown on camera, but we'll see. Maybe one day. Okay, so then there was an article on the MetaWatch, and it was like it's kind of like the year, like then versus now, and so we talked about not even talking about this, which is kind of a funny little statement to make, but I'm bringing it up just because it's news and whatnot. Rob, just look at your gits. You will be happy
Yep.
again, dude.
Yep.
I literally just have to do the base on another unit of trolls.
Speaking of Gits, a quick interlude.
Okay.
It came out last week.
Yeah.
The Gloomspite Gits
Yeah.
War Scroll
Yeah.
for the Loon Court
Oh my
is
gosh.
so good.
It's dope.
It's people. I just don't think people realize how much this is gonna be. Like I am now taking my Gloomspite Gits to LVO, and I am taking the Loon Court because like they are the thing that I've been missing in the army. Because like the two problems I had was, one is to have a hero that could push forwards that would be survivable,
Yeah.
to be able to use rally on the squigs or things like that when you're out of the general's bubble range.
Yep.
So the problem you have is any hero you take is just gonna die. Well, with the Loon Court, they're 12 wounds of ablative armor.
Yeah.
For him, he has a ward save. Plus, they can have a ward save if you get near that terrain thing.
Yep.
So that covers that. Plus, if you're shooting that unit to whittle them down, you're not shooting the other stuff that's coming at you.
Yep.
Cool thing number one.
Yep.
Cool thing number two
The coolest thing.
is is the fact of they give attack on death to a unit within free, not wholly within free,
Yep.
at the start of the combat phase. So that's either combat phase,
Yep.
and it's not a roll, it's not a spell,
Yep.
it's not a command ability. You just get it. So like Skaven have to put a spell on it, you know.
Yep.
Other, like Doors of Cain, it has to be a sub-faction.
You have to
This,
sacrifice
you
your
get
entire
it.
sub-faction to get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can have like 36 squigs in a big clump, and then just have a little trail of them going back to this hero.
Yeah.
The third thing, which is just beautiful, is the cheeky thing of there is 6 models in the unit plus a separate hero.
Yep.
6 models is Moon Clan, which means you can put a unit of 5 fanatics in that unit of 6 guys inside a unit of squigs as kind of a counter charge.
Yep.
So you make sure you've got your little gap open. So when your stuff charges into combat, it kills the enemy or tries to kill the enemy.
Yep.
They die. You remove the models, but attack on death.
Yep.
You get out of that 3-inch zone, so the next turn you get to rally them on a 4+. You make sure you leave a gap, because if they get the turn, they come in to go, oh, I'm gonna charge you, and then suddenly you have these fanatics popping out because they're legally in range of where because you're bringing them back and leaving a gap, and then suddenly you have 5 fanatics hitting them in the face if they want to charge you.
Exactly.
And it's just like, that is the cheekiest but cool, and like the little squig thrower thing, which is kind of like as good as the squig gobber.
Yeah.
It's just it's just such a, for 190 points. Like I was paying 180 for the dire brute Trogoth, which would die because he's quite easy to kill. Well, this other guy, like he's got the same armor saves as the dire brute. He's got 4 up. Yeah. And like the hero can actually do some work as well. He's got like 5 attacks, freeze, rend 1, D3 damage. Like that's for a goblin hero. Yeah. That's probably one of the most punchy normal heroes not on a squig.
I think it is the punchiest of any of the normal heroes.
Yes.
I think they did that instead of having all the goofy.
Yep. Plus, if you're within the Moonface Moment, he's going to be Ren 2.
Yeah.
So he can do some surprising work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like and the fact of like they're not like Flesh Eater Court. They actually think they're knights. Yeah. They actually think they're questing knights.
Well, wait, what do you
on
mean?
A mission.
What do you mean? The Flesh Eater Courts think that they're knights.
No, but they're like.
You mean they are knights?
Yeah, the fact that like the Flesh Eater Courts are delusional that they're these human beings that are these Bretonian basically people, while these goblins are like, no, we're knights. We're on this holy quest to do this thing because we don't like the moon, and it's just like, you guys are crazy. I love this. It's just such a
they don't like the light of the moon.
Yeah, I think there's a whole thing in it. I haven't read the full fluff of it, but they don't like the bad moon or something.
Weird.
They're against it. I should read up the full thing.
So
anyway, they're just
because Keith says that their fluff is the cool thing number 1. Yeah, and I believe it.
So not only are they just like really nice models and a cool little addition, and only 190 points. You know what? 190 points in the Gates army for that, which gives you that push forward unit.
There's so much utility there. Great. And because he's, you can add him to your Warlord battalion because he's only like 6 wounds. Yeah. And then they've got their little quest thing that they can go, which is not going to be easy, right?
But the thing is, it's not wholly within your opponent's terrain, so you can pick something which is like half and half or whatever. As long as it's like a slight bit in your opponent's thing, you can pick that one and get it.
But it's true. But then it's like, why would you do that though?
Just because it means your guy lasts longer. Because now that unit suddenly got a 4. But then you gotta like
put yourself out.
I suppose the bodyguard doesn't really stop the war. Like the war doesn't matter anything for the bodyguard.
Yeah, exactly. So then I was thinking like just keep them in your back line, and then if people shoot them and don't kill them off, then.
No, you want to push forward with them. You just want to push forward with them so they still have protection. So like mine will push forwards with 36 squigs in front of them, but then another 12 squigs around the back of them as well. So if the front ones died, I got the back ones to come in if I don't get to rally the other ones.
But if
I can then run them back.
If you keep them in the light of the bad moon via the shrine, then you can rally them on a 4 because they have the moon clan keyword.
Yeah.
So I could see having them as like a bunker to like but. Yeah.
just need to push because like if you're rallying the squigs because his bubble is a 12-inch wholly within for command abilities,
Yeah.
you want to make sure he's going to be in that even if like they don't lose as many models or something.
Yeah.
You kind of
sure.
need to be a little bit more aggressive with him, but again, because
I
he's
can see
got a
that.
4-up armor save and then a 2-up, push over, he should be pretty good.
He's pretty good, and he's minus
Yeah.
1 to hit. If you put him in
Yeah.
the Loon Shrine too, he can be minus
Yeah.
2 to hit.
And it's like if he dies, it's like okay, well,
Yeah.
he died.
What,
That's not.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Good
It's
job.
not the end of the
180
world. Yeah,
points.
it's like okay,
Yeah.
it's like well, and the resources you'd probably have to put in just to kill him quite easily. It's like it's not like something you can just like whop like Lin Canning off in one shot like you can with the like the Diabrute.
Yeah, you could probably you'd probably take you 2 warp lightning shots and then and if those cannons blow themselves up, which they can do on their first turn, then they're sacrificing 150 points each just to whittle them down. Where you bring a fun list with your ogres. You hear that, Alex? You got to bring a fun list. Yeah, Alex is like king of the fun lists. Like he really is quite good about that. But he kind of said what you were saying now, Keith, which is he just kind of wanted to, show like what people wanted to see ostensibly, which is the new
I don't think like so. There was a big tournament at the weekend in the US, and it was like a 94 player or something.
Yeah.
And like Tom Guan did. I think he went 4-1 with ogres with the 4 cannons.
Undercuts,
but there was like a lot of other people with cannons, and they were like bottom half.
Well,
I think there was only 2 guys that like went 3-2 or 4-1 with them.
I mean,
so it's one of these things. I think they came out and like, it takes a lot of people back, and then it's like, okay, how do we deal with this? Like, what do we look at?
I think, I mean, it's hard to say because like there was also the tournament when they first came out, and then there was like
that was Tom Guan
1,
as well.
2, and 3
that,
were all ogres.
Yeah.
I mean, like anything, like you can. It depends on their matchups. Like if you're facing Nighthaunt, they're laughing. Like that's hilarious, right? That cannon is hilarious to Nighthaunt. But if they were facing Alex, I don't know what they, you know what I mean? Like I don't think it needs like some crazy massive nerf, but I just think it was just what I was saying before about the casual scene. Like I just feel like it's gonna really struggle in the casual scene. Alex says, I've just got some life things getting in the way, to play at Rob's channel right now, but I've got a mammoth list and an infantry heavy list, but no cannons list ready.
Yeah, I mean that's the same for me. Like I've not been on, I've just not had time or bandwidth right now. So it's the time of year. It's like, not only starting a new job, but like, it's dark, it's depressing. There's no real events on the horizon, and obviously till LVO next year, which I can now go to. But it's like very much like okay. Yeah,
it's true, and we appreciate that, Keith. We don't worry, we never take it in the wrong way. Like people wanting to see Dale, Alex, anyone on the channel, that's just a compliment, really. Yeah, stupid adult stuff, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So I do have. I wasn't able to. We had to some real life stuff get in the way, but I should have. Yeah.
Thank you.
Again, congrats again, Dale. I mean, I think we've said it on. I can't remember. I've said it to you so many times in private. It's just like
I know. Yeah, because I got offered the one. The week before I got this one.
Yes.
I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'm not very excited about that one, but like it's a job and I need to take it, so okay. And then I managed to stall them a little bit, and because of this other one with Arc'teryx came through, and then I got that one, and it's just like it was like such a big pay difference, not only from the other job but also the one I used to do. So it's like a higher kind of job, but it's also like, okay, this is like gonna make things a lot more comfortable. So it's good.
Yeah, so you got a job with Arc'teryx.
Yeah, which is like international, becoming international clothing, but they do like high end like waterproof jackets and stuff. And it's kind of funny because like when I first came to Vancouver, I used to work at Grouse Mountain and I used to sell Arc'teryx at Grouse Mountain, so I used to know all about the products. I have an Arc'teryx jacket that I've had for like 10 years. And their stuff can be like a bit more. It's more of an investment than just going out and buying a jacket. But
Yes.
when you have a jacket that lasts you like 10 years as a Gore-Tex waterproof jacket, that's kind of like a good investment for what you
They
pay.
they are literally like what the top survival people like
Yeah, yeah,
extreme
yeah.
like if you're
Oh,
going
I
to
found that.
Antarctica, you're buying Arc'teryx like
So
yeah
they have a second division, which I didn't know as much about. I always thought they just provided gear for like
like
ski
retail.
resorts and stuff.
Oh, got
No,
it.
they make gear for the Navy SEALs.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, they are
Yeah,
literally the highest
yeah,
grade survival stuff
yeah.
in the world. Like it's
It's
crazy.
really cool.
Yeah, and we're lucky to have them. Like they're literally from my city, like where I
Yeah,
was born and
yeah.
raised on the playground. I didn't spend most of my days, but yeah. So just turn it back to AOS. It's amazing, Dale, and congrats again. Obviously,
Yeah,
I've
big
said I can't.
stress relief.
Yeah, for sure, and
Yeah.
it's just dope. Arc'teryx are freaking awesome. So just to go back to AOS, I know most of you aren't here for AOS, but just in case we have some stragglers. So they did show this win rate thing, and it's like versus 2021. I just feel like it doesn't mean anything at all. Like,
They kind of like so someone released, and it wasn't GW that did it. Someone did
yeah,
a really cool video where
yeah,
it's kind of it goes through the year,
yeah.
and it actually is like a video where like things go up
See,
and down depending on what they do.
that would be interesting, but like
Yeah,
2021, like even like the past
yeah.
GHB, it's like okay,
Oh
once
yeah,
we're
yeah,
in the new
yeah.
GHB, like nothing means anything anymore.
Yes,
Like
yeah. And
like
that's the thing
bounty
is that you should
hunters,
be
like what?
looking, yeah, you should be looking at the results from June 2022
Yeah,
until now, because that's the ones that matter. Because yeah, why do you care about how Gloomspike did in 2021? Because the general handbook now is completely different than that.
exactly. Like
Also, 2021 was in the middle of COVID, so most people wouldn't even like
yeah,
you were maybe getting TTS games and stuff.
yeah.
Like no one was like really playing tournaments and stuff.
No, no. Like
So yeah,
TT.
it was kind of like a weird thing to post up and be, you know,
I
they
remember.
seem excited about it, but then kind of a lot of people were like, okay, are you just going to keep throwing these up because this doesn't really do like it's nice to see,
It,
but how they're doing it like that, it's like this
yeah.
doesn't really do much for like showing how the meta's changed.
Maybe it's a practice run for
Maybe,
next year. That's
maybe.
interesting. That's an interesting thought, Keith. I like it. I mean, and it's fun, but it's not really any real information. Like it's cool to see that like Beasts of Chaos went up a whopping 23%. Like some of those
Yeah.
things are wild. Heat Knights went up 17%. Like that's crazy.
What would be nice if like if they actually did a breakdown, like a little, just even do something like this, but then write why this change, like
Yeah,
why did the Beastmen jump up? They got
Beastmen
a White
obviously
Dwarf
White
up to the
Dwarf.
side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Why did Gloomspike get dropped down? It's because the General's Handbook was different.
Yeah.
But like a lot of this, it's like well, why did this happen? Was it a new battle tune? Was it
Well,
something that was introduced?
the
Was
other
it
thing too is
a change to the system?
well, in the first 7 months of the year, we were on AOS 2.
Yeah, yeah,
So Gloomspite Gits lost all their battalions at the end of or halfway through the year,
yeah,
and that was one of the few things keeping them like reasonable.
yeah.
I won't commit too far on that. I'm surprised Nighthaunt only went up 12%. That's the only thing that I'm even remotely surprised about.
I
Although,
think for them, it's like
you
I
know what
just not.
though? They got their book when like May
Yeah.
or something, right? Or June? I don't remember, but anyway.
I just haven't seen the influx of Night Haunt armies I thought I would see.
And there's a reason why. It's because like I actually watched the the what's it called, Warhammer Weekly, and they were talking about, so they did like a popularity kind of show, like whatever, and they were showing that Nighthaunt, this is way before they got a new book, like probably when they were at an all-time low, they were the second most popular or the most popular army in tournament. I think it was the second most popular army in tournament, period. And that they were doing terribly. So I guess there's just a lot of people that are just like, no, I love this army. So you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
That's just
I
theory. Right.
So I kind of like took, so I kind of mentioned this before, I'm taking Gits to LVO. I kind of like taking a step back from Daughters of Cain because one, they've become more of a popular army. Like when I
Yeah.
started playing Daughters of Cain, there was like the one person playing Daughters of Cain at a tournament,
Yeah.
kind of. And now there's like multiple, and most of them just use the Marathi bow snake list. There are some people branching out,
And
but it's just kind of like it's just the community. There's so much kind of like blame lameness to it for the Daughters of Cain. Like a couple of months ago, I quit the WhatsApp and the Discord because it's like you guys just posting up the same lists over and over and over, going, "Is this good?" And it's like you're just posting the same lists and you've changed maybe one model's item or something.
yeah, just scroll up. Right.
Yeah, and I just like, do you know what? I don't want to be a Daughters of Cain player right now.
Yeah.
So I kind of just like I was gonna take him to L, and I wasn't excited about LVO and taking Daughters again. Like I was kind of like when I found that I could be able to afford to go and now I've got this job. I was like maybe I should just kind of like not go and just maybe just call it a thing this year and sell my ticket or something.
Yeah.
And then like the Git scroll came out and it just kind of like reignited my fire to play again. It's like, oh, I just want to play Gits now. Like I was already wavering before, and especially now we're getting a new book as well.
It's true.
Yeah, I
And
just want to just play Gits.
and
There's so much more fun.
just for a little bit of context. So like Veronica, one of our club members, she was playing. She had like bought Daughters. She decided on Daughters as soon as they showed the previews, right? So and then she did the same thing with Slanesh, just for everyone at home, right? And so when Dale came into it, he was playing Daughters, and Veronica had moved on to Slanesh at that point.
Yeah,
So so but when you started was when what was it called, what are the regular Daughters called, the witch elves?
yeah,
They were like the meta thing at the time. This is still Daughters 1.0 book
yeah.
for
I
you.
started just as the second book dropped,
Just
so
as the
I was
second book
never
dropped.
around for I was never there for the 50-point high
Oh,
queens.
oh, were you not there for the second one?
No, no. I started at I started Daughters of Cain. My first tournament and my first time playing them was kind of like um 2019, but it was like after Kippers
Yeah.
because sorry no Kippers was the first one. It was after Attack X. So
Okay.
my first event with them really was October um
Oh,
2019. So it was kind of like I got
but
them,
that
and
that
then
was
literally
book
like
one
a
though.
month or two later, the second book came out.
Oh, wow.
Because then this year we got the third book come out.
I thought that their second book came out in 2020 or 2021.
I think it's 2019.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So
Wow.
okay.
Time flies when you're dealing with witch elves.
it
Um, yeah.
was
So
either the second book or they got like a big change in points from the General's Handbook. Because all I
that
remember is
that I remember because
I
the
was paying
snakes
like
went
90
down.
points for a Hag
Yeah.
Queen because like everyone's going on about
But
50-point Hag Queens. It's like no, the 90 points and like yeah, the Witch Elves were now like I think there were 100 and something, but like for 30 of them was 300 or something. And again, like the points had changed on them.
yeah, and I mean, but you were playing the snakes before they were good.
Yeah, I was running 20 of the melee snakes
Yeah.
pretty much most of the time to
So
begin.
you
Because
you
again, like back then, you used to
you were
get the
always a
discount for
hipster is
running.
what I'm trying to get at. That's what I
Yeah,
was trying to
yeah,
go for.
yeah.
And also I wanted to shout out Veronica because she was super into Daughters of Cain. She was
Yeah.
taking them to tournament, but
I still
um,
never got to play Veronica yet.
oh really?
She keeps dodging me.
She's dodging you. You hear that,
Yeah.
Veronica? You've been called out. Um, yeah. You guys should have
Yeah.
a Daughters off or something.
But yeah, I just like the Gits model range, and there's so much fun. And even like when you lose with Gits, it's still fun
Yep.
because they're just so adorable. And you just look at them, and there's these goofy little guys, and it's like,
I
it's like how are you winning games? You look terrible, but you're amazing. I
Well,
love you.
I've been painting Gits for well over a month now, and
Mhm.
I'm not tired of them, which is crazy to me. The only time I've ever experienced that was Ida Thief King, which I also really like. But yeah. Anyway, so that was the kind of year in review, and then I wanted to do another shout out. So our clubmate Matthias got mentioned in these two lists for the final. One was for Seraphon, which was the winning list, and it was a really cool list because it's quite different. Saurus Knights, and it wasn't either of the two major. It wasn't Fangs of Sotek, and it wasn't Thunder Lizard. It was Coatl's Claw. And he actually did like a show on AoS Coach, and he kind of goes through it, and it's pretty fun. But then our very own Matthias Krushel they showed his list as well, and it was just so cool. Even though Dean took a very interesting and different Seraphon list, everyone's like, it's Seraphon. Even still, right? But like no one really expected like a Skaven list to go, to get number two. And so that was dope. Again, it was just really cool that they highlighted it. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted
Yeah.
to bring it up because it's in the same article with that other stuff.
It's
Um,
also like one of our little, it's like our local guy who we
yeah,
play against and stuff. It's nice. It's kind of amusing because like the Pacific Northwest, like, we had Jim Vessel for
yep,
40K,
yeah. He was the
was
number one.
smashing it up.
He
He
was
was
the
number
number
one for a
one
while.
40K
He's
player
he's
for
a
a
Vancouver
while.
boy.
Yep,
Now we've had like Matthias, and then like in Seattle we have Matt Beasley as well. Like
yep.
again, like
And
we've got
you,
some
and
pretty
you,
solid
Dale,
people.
and you.
Oh yeah, but like I'm not like I had an okay season this season, but like I've not won a tournament. Like I've got best overall, but I'm not 5-0'd an event or anything.
Well, but like you
So
did win best overall at LVO 2019, and you've been
2020 that one.
you've
Yeah.
been traditionally a very strong player for a long time.
Yeah.
This is the era of the Deceiver and Boat Thankful. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, like I think once Stupid Bounty Hunters goes away, like Skaven are gonna get not just Skaven, like Skaven, Beastmen, like a lot of factions, Night Haunt,
Even ogres. Yeah.
ogres, yeah,
Yeah.
but Night Haunt, like think about Night Haunt without damage
Yeah.
too, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be wild, man. So
Six.
squigs, yeah, like gets are gonna get a huge boost. Um, I felt like when I said that though, it was like, well, yeah, but they're gonna get a new book as well. But it's like, yeah, outside of the book as well, they're gonna get a huge boost. But yeah, it's in that's assuming we get a new GHB. I hope so. Yeah.
Even if they
Um,
give them like +1 damage on the charge. We'll see. It's not gonna be that long. Realistically, we're probably gonna have it in, mid-end January.
what you think the new GHB?
No, no, the new Gits book.
The new Gits book, yeah, sure, it's probably coming out hopefully in January or February, but it's like, wow, that would be wild if it came out in February. It feels like every time, every my birthday's in February, so it feels like every time I have a birthday, something amazing that I'm really into, either Skaven or IDK or just something wild that I love comes out. That's weird. Um,
My dog's barged the door open, so I've put that on mute while I stroke her butt because she's
nice.
demanding strokes.
Aw. So should we talk about the year a bit now? Okay. So,
Yep.
so the first thing that we had in the new year was Idnith Deepkin and Fire Slayers. First they got a box, and it had the new Thrallmaster Flash that I call him, and then it had, yes, they had a disco dog, says Keith. Um, and then they had Fire Slayers, and then they had a little hero in there too. I don't remember his name because there's so many Fire Slayer heroes. What they really needed was like a new unit and not a new hero. But I understand resources and all that kind of thing. But we were blessed with the Idoneth Deepkin getting a new cover, and then we got a new book. Um, yeah, Auric Flamekeeper. Thank you, Alex. That's the new Fire Slayer guy. Um, so I actually think he looks really cool. I really like the Thrallmaster for Deepkin. Um, he made the thralls a lot more interesting. Um, oh, that's another army that's going to get a huge boost is Deepkin, because thralls aren't bad except during bounty hunters. Then they're just terrible.
I used
Um,
putting the dog away to get more wine. So fine.
nice, excellent. You chose
Painkiller.
you
Yeah.
chose wisely. Um,
Painkiller for my foot.
oh, geez, yeah.
Yeah.
So then Deepkin also, and then both of them got a new book. Um, the new Fire Slayers book is really awesome. I really like how thematic it is. Um, and then, like, if I don't know, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. I actually wish you were on here. If you want to join, let me know. I'll send you a thing.
Remember the Fire Slayer book came out,
Yeah.
and then Alex was like, we did that one day little tournament thing, like Games Day in
Oh
North
yeah.
Vancouver, and Alex was like, oh, I'm just gonna bring 6 Macrodrops, and just like devastated everyone.
He just killed
Yeah,
everyone with
yeah.
like way too much rend. I'm wrong. What am I wrong about? I don't even remember my question. That's how tired I am. I literally don't remember what question I asked. Um, uh, what was I? Oh man. So yeah, a lot of rend. I really think that the the theme of the book is super awesome because like when they take wounds, they have like fiery blood and it like burns you. Like that's just awesome,
The
right?
Macrodrops.
Oh, the wait. What about the magma drops?
They're the ones that do the fiery blood. I don't think the normal guys do.
Oh, okay. Oh, the
Yeah.
normal guys don't.
No, I think it's just
Oh,
the
okay.
Macrodrops.
I mean, that's still awesome. Made me sad. More magma drops made you happy. Okay.
I think the
Um,
thing I'm liking about them is they're kind of like these were kind of the first two books that were like bringing the armies a bit more balanced. Like not reining them in fully, but like this was when we first started seeing like a lot of the books coming out that are like, okay, we're gonna try and like make these armies into that kind of the 45 to 54% win rate or whatever it is.
yeah, this is the first. So
So when they came out, nothing jumped out. It wasn't like, oh my god, the dragons are gonna destroy everyone. They need nerfing now.
yeah.
It was kind of like, okay, these books came out and they're all right. Like
Well,
they're
and
pretty
it's
good.
partially because like so before you had like three attack profiles on the eels, right?
Mhm.
They could be twos and twos, re-rolling ones, right? And they came out with the same points and like mostly just a nerf, you know. So, but they simplified a lot of things. And I guess my biggest problem with the new Deepkin book was just that it was such a copy and paste. You know what I mean? And they mostly just took things out. So I was a little disappointed. They reworked the Isharan rituals, which are a lot more interesting now. Um, but yeah, now the boat is like the terrain is like you could literally just not take it unless, if you don't have infantry, if you don't have like thralls and reavers. Um, although it's good just for the anyway. Just I was actually quite disappointed with this book when it came out, to be fully honest, because it was such a rehash. I was expecting like like a proper revamp like what we had just seen with Stormcast. Um, but but it actually foretold yeah, like that's what I was saying, Alex. Fire Slayers had a huge flavor win, and that's where I was disappointed with because I wanted like the flavor. That's my main thing that I really love about books. Is like is new flavor, like a revamping when they get really into the fluff and they kind of bring it to life. Um, so, but it did foretell a what was to come for all of AoS 3 that we saw literally until now. Like ogres are
I
like
think slaves were the first kind of like ones that have come out where they've kind of like the book's a big thing and they've changed a lot and
well no that's not true.
you know what I think?
First we had no Night Haunt was a huge revamp.
Oh, true.
I
Yeah.
think that was the biggest revamp, to be honest, because a lot of like I mean they just changed so much. Like there's so many anyway. I mean, so we'll get into them, but like it did foretell like the Deepkin book did foretell how the new books were going to be balanced, you know. And like I was saying this to my buddy Ryan the other day, but I got really into 40k during AoS 2, which was 40k 8th edition, right? And because AOS 2 was doing what ninth edition 40k is doing now, which is the books would come out, they're so crazy powerful, they have to almost immediately nerf them, and it's not fun for anybody, right? But third edition, even if it doesn't have a lot of crazy cool fluff, hey, at least this edition, it's like you can have your cake and eat it too. Like you can have fun when your book comes out. You can have fun when other people's books come out, and you don't immediately have a negative experience when they nerf the bejeebers out of your book like 3 or 4 weeks later, right? It's great. Um, and the Night Haunt book and the Sylvaneth books are proof that they can come out. They can really heavily revamp a book and still have it be well balanced. So I really love that about this edition. AOS is by far my favorite game right now, and I think we have that to thank to a certain extent. Keith says he was disappointed Nodlar can't do what the new Varangard can do. Pick one turtle as your general and get no artifact command trait would mean you could run Ninja Turtles. Yes, absolutely. You used to be able to run Ninja Turtles, Keith. You probably remember when they were down far enough in points. They were like 300 points at one point. I'm kind of disappointed, yeah, in a few things there, but I don't want to get too negative. Like, the monstrous action is only for Nautilus, whereas like you got like, then you got the new Giants book and they've got like 2 or 3 and they're all awesome. The new Ogres book has a bunch of awesome monstrous actions. Um, you know, and like the heroic action is also locked to Iron Rock. So, there's a few things, but like, hey, right? Like overall, I am very thankful for this new style that they've gone with. So yeah. Anyway, not to dwell on it too much. The Fire Slayers one, like Alex said, is a huge flavor win. Then we got Night Haunt and Daughters. This is from Dicebreaker.com, by the way. Dale found this article, and it was just kind of the start of the year, so it's to help us kind of remember. So then we got Night Haunt and Daughters. They also got a what you call it? Oh, Dan's just stopping by to say what's up. Got my new Gits Warband. How did you get it so early, Dan? I'm so jealous.
Actually, yeah, because I've just been I'm trying to get a hold of mine early as well.
Yeah. I can't pick mine up till Saturday, but I know it's waiting for me. Yeah. You see us next week, Dan. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks for stopping by. He says he's been
amazing. Dan, oh, he's from a different area, so he might have been able to
Yeah, Dan's in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So
I'm in talks with someone to see if I can get mine a little bit earlier so we can use it on Sunday if I can get it and paint it in time.
Nice.
But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So then Keith says 3.0 has been amazing for reducing the amount of bookkeeping you need to do. Yeah, exactly. Yes, less oops, I forgot this rule when people are using the updated battle tomes. Yeah, like a lot of the stuff, you needed like 3 books. You know what I mean? And 40k is terrible for that. Friends in the Loon Shrine. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely though. It's been I think we need more of that in both games. I actually think I like 40k. Like I every now and again I need to scratch that 40k itch. But yeah, AOS is in such a great spot, and I really think that we have these new books to thank for that. So we did get Night Haunt Daughters. They got a box. We got the Gladiatrix in there for Daughters, and we got the Scrivener, Soulpuck's Scrivener.
Yeah. And to be honest, like and more importantly, Daughters of Cain got War Scroll cards this time.
Yeah, that was the most important thing.
After me nagging them for like an edition, why didn't we get them with the book release? We got them, and I didn't use them, but it's because we have a nice app now.
There's a lotion for what? I've lost track of the plot for everything. What were we talking about?
So one thing I think it more came out the year before, but I've got to say, like the AOS app, is actually pretty good.
It's awesome. And you know what I didn't know? Apparently it's free. Like the what's it called? The Stormforge thing? Like the list building part? Apparently it's free.
I did not. I thought you had to have an account with the Warhammer.
I thought
Plus.
You needed to. Yeah. Oh, the need to scratch 40k.
But it's just like.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry. Yeah,
in terms of just like a list building app, it's just decent, and like it has bugs, and
Not many.
but like I have tons of like sometimes I just sit on the toilet and write up an army list,
Yep.
or like I wake up at 4 in the morning after letting the dog out and be going, I wonder if this would work, and I
Yeah.
spend 5 minutes writing this stupid list and shut my brain off because it's like, okay, I've written it, I can put this down now,
Yeah.
instead of like having to go through all these other things or like use Warcoda or
You know
stuff,
what's
which is
crazy
still
though?
great, but
What's crazy is the 40K app you need to pay for, and it doesn't
Hmm.
function nearly as well as the AOS one. Like I haven't encountered any glitches in the AOS one almost since
Interesting.
launch. And like when the new book comes out or whatever comes out for it, it's ready day one, and so far it's just worked perfectly for me. There was a one point where it kept like just shutting down, but that was like I forget, it was a couple of days, and then it was fine. But anyway,
Yeah, but
um,
like I don't, yeah, I just don't think it gets shouted
so
out much. But
no,
it's
it's
just
true.
kind of,
So
I'm impressed. Like
before we
it's been a
forget
good
though,
little thing.
before we forget the Gladiatrix, what were your thoughts on her? Like
She's
super quick.
so like it's super quick. She was the cheapest hero we could buy,
Okay.
and if you were running, like she's very squishy, so she's easy to kill.
Yeah.
But you can run two of her for like 180 points to 90 points each.
Yeah.
And adding Ren 1 and +1 to wound on witch elves if you're running lots of witch elves. I think when we get rid of bounty hunters, I think you'll see a lot more of them.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
think because that's the problem at the minute is like, having 30 witch elves right now is not the best thing because of bounty hunters.
Yeah.
But I think as soon as bounty hunters goes out the window, I think you'll start seeing more witch elves being ancestors of the slaughter being played with more of the high gladiatrix.
Even as much as like I had to suffer under Veronica's witch elves, I miss
Mhm.
witch elves. I wish
Yep.
we
Yeah.
had. I just I like seeing a variety of armies. I don't like seeing the same thing all the time. So
And it's
yeah,
hordes. Like I miss seeing like 90 witch elves on a
yeah,
table or
yeah.
like all these horde armies because
That's
right
literally
now
what
they're just
Veronica
not
would
working.
run was 90
Yeah.
witch elves, and it was horrifying. Uh,
So
but
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah. I mean, again, like it wasn't groundbreaking. It's not the best, but like it was a 90. If you need a cheap hero to fill in a slot,
okay. I
90
was just
points is
I was just laughing at Keith. He said he looks forward to the day Bounty Hunters goes away, or he looks forward to reinforcing his units again. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, it almost feels like a waste now. Um, but and then we also got I think I can't remember if I could be saying the name wrong. Solpox Scrivener, I want to say his name is. Um, one of the worst, yeah, of the new heroes. Like arguably the most
It looks
useless.
cool.
He looks so freaking awesome.
Oh
And
no
then
no, hang on a second.
the
You've
one I was
forgotten
holding up,
something.
the one I was holding up though, just for
Right.
everyone's information, that's my son's. He likes Night Haunt, so it's not even mine.
Rob, you've forgotten a key thing here.
What did I forget? That seems
You've
very
got
likely.
Nighthorn
Yeah,
not only got a hero,
yeah. They got Larry the
they
Downer.
got no, they got a unit as well.
They did. Oh, that's right. They got the worst unit as well.
They got a unit of
I'll be right
crossbow
back.
guys, which are terrible. I don't think I've ever seen them be played, and I don't think I've ever seen people. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen them be played in a game at all.
I've never seen someone play them. I
Yeah,
have seen someone
yeah.
paint them,
But you
and
got
it was
them. It was
yeah.
it was the thing that no one asked for and no one wanted. A unit of cross. And I even remember when they came out. It's like, okay, crossbow ghosts.
Yeah.
Like having like a solid range and be able to, that could work. The models aren't terrible. It's
They're
like
cool.
maybe.
No,
And then the rules came out and it's
Yeah.
just like, why?
And they missed
Why?
something.
Why?
They missed something so freaking obvious. It boggles my mind. Do you know what that is? You know what that is, Dale?
Well,
They gave Spirit Hosts the bodyguard, and these guys are called Craven Throne Guard,
oh,
no
yeah,
bodyguard.
yeah.
Like not even for freaking
You might have seen them be taken then.
yeah. Oh yeah. No. I would have totally taken these guys. I would have totally taken them.
Yeah.
Even if they were a few points more, they're just kind of cool. You know what I mean? They have the cool factor. But no. I think there's
well.
only 4 in that unit, but I can't remember if there was 5.
And then we also got around the same time as those two books, we got the General's Handbook.
We did get the General's Handbook. Yeah, I can scroll down for that.
And not long beforehand, we also got we think it was back in April that Fondia came out, but I can't remember like when exactly.
Yeah.
But like we also got the Kronspine this year as well, which was
Right.
like during, before, I think it's before or around General's Handbook 3 came out.
Well, General's Handbook came out after the next release, which was Skaven and Sylvaneth.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that came out next. This is as
So
far as
this
this is as far
website
as I
we've got
have
only took us till
pictures
May,
ready.
so yeah.
But so okay, man. Okay, so if we're being honest about the year in review, this is the most one-sided box set they've
Yeah.
ever done. There was about 30% more value in the Sylvaneth side, just in money terms, right? Because there was only 10 Storm Vermin. If they'd even included a full box of Storm Vermin, you still wouldn't have been equal. That's what's crazy about it, right? But because there's only 10 Storm Vermin, yeah. And then not only that, but they just like they have only the kits that like everyone has already.
You
So
did get the Underworld unit at the same time. So you did
we
get
got the
them
Underworld unit
and
just
an
before
Assassin.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we just got the
Assassin model.
Skittershank, which are like some of the coolest Skaven models they've literally ever made. Um, and and we got a new Deathmaster in here. We got this one little tiny little new Deathmaster, and then for the Sylvaneth side, you got a brand new giant awesome caster with a great war scroll she can have a spell that gives a 5-up ward like all around her. She's not cheap, but she is freaking awesome. And if you don't believe me about how great she is for like utility purposes, watch the battle report with it was Andy's Sylvaneth versus Slimnet. Oh, actually, you know what? That's I just remembered that's a Patreon battle report.
Okay.
But Andy has he has his caster like on 3d6 re-rolling, right? And she just keeps getting this buff off, and like everything within this bubble of her is got a 5-up ward, and he's just got this castle, and it's just like, what are you gonna do, bro? You know?
And what isn't pictured there as well, because obviously you've got like the pixie fairy knight archers, the Gosford
first
archers.
Let's go through this. So then you
Okay.
have her, which she's awesome. Then you've got the
Gosford archers, is
thank
it?
you, Gossamet archers,
Yeah.
and then you've got some other cool things like Kurnoth hunters are always a good thing.
And a
to
tree
have.
lord as well.
And a tree lord, like that's such a dope box on the Sylvaneth side. But then so then when the books came out, we got a Skaven book, we got a Sylvaneth book, and then we also got two different kinds of spite. What are they called? Spite Swarm Lancers.
Yeah, which are really good.
They're super good.
Yeah.
Yep. They're squishy
with,
and
with
like
strike,
you know.
but with strike and fade.
Oh my gosh! No, they're
yeah.
super cool.
Yeah.
What a cool little article this is, but I don't think that's all that is. Okay, so then and then we got our second major revamp of a book, which was the Sylvaneth. Like they really went back to formula on this book.
Yeah, I think that was the first new rule, strike and fade, coming, where everyone was like, "Oh wow, like that's a heavy play ability."
And to be fair, a lot of people thought it was in both turns at first. Because the way they worded it was really stupid. Like if you stopped reading at any one point until the very end, you were like, "Oh, this is every turn," because it just says.
And they also kind of like nerfed, like I wouldn't say nerfed it, but like strike and fade. Now the fade out happens after attack on death or after the stormcast blow. So it's like it has a lessened effect against some things, but again, you weren't seeing many Cobra Kai players. You weren't seeing many people taking attack on death on like rats or anything like Matthias was doing. So like it was kind of like this whole theory craft where like a lot of them were like, "Oh, it's gonna be really terrible with these armies." It's like, yeah, but how often are you seeing these armies? Or like it wasn't a thing really happening.
So Keith said two funny things. He said, so, by the way, I was wrong. I couldn't remember his name, but it was the Scriptor Mortis is the name of the hero. That sounds right. And he says, "Yeah, I think with the crossbows, they did all the hard work giving them cool fluff. I'll have to take your word for it. I looked at the war scroll and I was like, no, like I'm not even gonna build those unless my son asks me to, and then he did. And then Keith says, always read the rule all the way to the end, and then read it a second time, but slower. Yeah,
Oh, I had to do that the other day where
we're
like
all guilty of it. Yeah,
the Shard Star Ballista only works in your turn. So you can only give the -1 to hit in your turn.
yeah,
Which is kind of like it's still good because it means you can push a combat, give that -1 to hit, knowing you're going to be getting hit back less.
yeah.
But it's also like not as good as being like, oh, I can like hit your iron blasters and then you're going to be -1 next turn to shoot me. So I kind of like that. It's not over. It's a free thing that comes with it that is not overplaying.
Yep. It's not too powerful, but it's powerful enough that you probably want to take it, and they're good.
They're great allies. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I can see that for sure.
Two Shard Star Ballistas, which we'll come to when the Lumineth book comes up, but like they're a very good ally unit.
Should we go to the Lumineth book? Like,
sure.
Actually, I guess I'll touch on the Skaven super quick. Another kind of rehash. It's like a theme for me. But they definitely expanded the internal balance amazingly well. I'll say that for sure. And then they had some really cool. They had like one really cool rule in the book that I think a lot of people complained about, which was the 3 claw steps, or not 3 claw steps ahead. Whatever whatever the one you get is called when you have the 3 Master Clan units. And then there was like a being like able to charge really well in there. But I guess people complained and they said
played once.
Dude, I know. Matthias was excited. I was excited. And then I don't know. They were like, "Oh, there's fun being taken place. We can't allow that." So.
Is that why I've not seen it because it was removed? Okay.
It was removed. Yeah. Like.
Okay.
But like, no one was playing it. I saw Matthias going like, "Okay, I can do some cool combos with giant rats." He was super excited for that. And then, but anyway, it's all good. Oh yeah, no, I did remember that. I did remember Keith was talking about how the fluff, they're the personal guard of Kurdos, the Craven King, and Nagash made them so they will always do the finishing blow on anything. Not anything, Keith. That the exception is in the game. In the game we play, they won't do the finishing blow. I'm just kidding. But anyway, so the Skaven book is fine. My major disappointment was that we've now completed that meme of the Interstellar meme, or I forget what movie it's from. Like I haven't seen the movie, but it's like there's like that the most amazing meme ever was, like one day here is 7 years on Earth. So in another week we'll get new Skaven sculpts or whatever. It was so funny. Unfortunately, we still don't have new Skaven sculpts. When they come, they will be glorious, as we have seen with the Deathmaster and the Slink Skittershank Warband. But we're still waiting, and it's unfortunate. That was my major disappointment, as was my disappointment with the Seraphon book. But we'll see. Hopefully, we get some new Seraphon sculpts, and especially new Skaven sculpts, because they are the oldest sculpts in Warhammer. But on that note, we will go to the army that never wants for new sculpts, Dale. Or a new book. What was the joke you made about getting a new book for Lumineth before we started?
Oh yeah, when we were talking earlier, I was like, and this was book, because we're going down the list of what happened this year. It's like, oh yeah, and book 17 for Lumineth.
That's what it was. I couldn't remember.
The constant joke, which will anytime now, a Lumineth book, even if it comes out in 4 years' time, there's still going to be a look of like, oh, here comes another Lumineth book. You know?
Exactly. It's funny because like that was the joke for the first like 3 or 4 years of Stormcast.
Yeah.
But
Stormcast had like 800 model ranges or something. I know. Like that. Like they have such a huge model range, and Lumineth didn't get anything. They got like one extra hero or something, or an extra 4 units between the 3 books or something.
It's true. I mean,
kangaroos, foxes, and the Enlightener.
All the foxes, and then And then the twins I think came out with the second release. I want to
But
say
again, you don't. Yeah, I mean, it came out,
it
but
wasn't
yeah, I
that big
don't
a
think I've seen
deal.
them be used. Yeah.
And then what were there any new sculpts for the last book other than the sorcerer chick? I can't
Just
remember
the
her name.
Enlightener, I think, was the only one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Again,
cool.
you still have like, if they're gonna make it a combined thing in the future, you still have Tyrion, because in the fluff of the Lumineth Realm Lords, they only talk about half of the continent, but they show the whole continent
Yeah.
because the other half is Tyrion's.
Yep.
So I don't know if when Tyrion comes out, he will just be Lumineth and they'll release a load of new models and they'll have like a range like Stormcast where
I
they'll have
think
like a big
I think
chunky
they will.
roster,
Yeah.
or there'll be a different book.
You know what I would love to
Um,
see? Like I might have some naysayers on this. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there too. Like no one needs to get too excited, but the I actually so high elves are so popular from fantasy that like when AoS 4 comes out, I would be super down if they had high elf or sorry, Lumineth Lumineth versus X. Just like whatever. Lumineth versus Skaven, and that's the new
I would recreate the one of the old box sets. So one of the old box
Oh,
sets
Island of
was,
Blood? Island of
yeah,
Blood?
like Lumineth versus Gits.
Oh, that would be
You
so
know,
sick.
that'd be pretty,
Or
you
yeah,
know.
that would be what, fourth edition, right? Fourth edition fantasy, I think, was
Yeah.
high elves versus goblins. Yeah, that would be really cool.
Or even have you could have Slanesh, sorry, Sylvan
But
Seraphon versus Flesh Eater Corpse. So you got Seraphon versus
oh
Bretonnia.
yeah, that
You
would.
know,
But
it'd be kind of like a fun little nod towards fantasy.
yep, yeah. Or it could be Seraphon versus like some kind of. Oh, I get it now. I got
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that would
You
be
could also have Dawnbringer Crusade versus Orcs. Because there
Dawnbringer
was an
Crusade.
Empire versus
That was
Orc
fifth
and Goblin
edition.
book. Yeah,
That was
yeah.
fifth edition. Yeah.
So
Oh no no
there's
no!
there's
Fifth
lots you
edition.
could do.
Fifth edition was Lizardmen versus Bretonnia, which is the one you just did. I think sixth edition was Orcs versus Empire,
Mm.
right? And then what was seventh? Because
Wasn't it Skaven?
no, I think
Skaven
that was
versus
eighth. I think eighth.
dwarfs.
I think eighth was Island of Blood.
Oh no, it's dwarfs versus goblins.
Oh really?
That was one. Yeah, it's Battle for Skull Pass.
Oh okay. I don't know. You
But
know,
it was like dwarfs versus like goblins instead of orcs and goblins.
I was not in the hobby
Yeah.
at that time. I was
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
gallivanting in other countries. So
And then they're the same kind of goblin units that are still used for spiders and
yes,
gits
for
mostly.
sure. Yeah. No, that was a
Yeah.
cool. That was a cool
Well, that'd
box.
be kind of like a fun thing. Like if Games Workshop were trying to be a little bit nostalgic kind of thing, it might be a kind of an amusing thing to do.
Dude, I would love that. You
Yeah.
know, I would really love that. I think like they do it in 40K, right? They do like Space Marines versus X every time since I don't know how long, and I don't like. I'm sure that like it's like the self-fulfilling prophecy thing. You know what I mean? But like,
Oh,
but
they're gonna keep adding new. Like every now and then, I see a new tank being added for
well,
Space Marines. It's like this tank's been here for the entire time. No one just was using it, and it's just like I get it.
well,
Space
it
Marines
makes
are
more
the big
sense with
seller.
Primaris because the Primaris have only been
True,
around for like a couple
true.
hundred years now in the
Yeah.
lore, so like it sort of makes sense. But like even then, like I think here's the bottom line. Like I think that they should get away from Space Marines, even though Space Marines are like by far their best-selling
Okay.
army, by far, by far, by far. Like there's nothing even freaking close, right?
Side tangent.
Okay,
Speaking of Space Marines,
yeah.
Space Marine 2, the
Oh
trailer.
man.
Oh
it's
my
so
goodness.
sick.
One,
God damn.
they've got Primaris with jump packs, which
Yes.
is obviously going to be a thing in the future.
For sure.
But like,
Near
if you
future.
haven't seen the trailer yet and you love the first Space Marine game, go and check it out. They released a new one for like the big games awards they did last week or this week, and oh my goodness, it looks stunning. And it's
Mwah.
Space Marines versus Tyranids, but like it looks good. It looks chunky. It looks like an armored Marine fighting through hordes of Tyranids.
It's
And
so
like,
cool.
oh,
And yeah. Yeah.
like Space Marine when it came out was a fantastic game.
Yep.
I loved it. I used to play the online PvP version where it's Space Marine like Imperial like Loyalists versus Chaos Marines. That was I used to play that a lot. It was fun.
Yeah.
And you could the custom skins
I
and
didn't
stuff.
play that, but I got the game for free
Yeah.
on PlayStation Network, like PS
It was
Plus,
a
like
good
ages
game.
ago. Dude, I played it through the whole thing and I loved it.
I think one of my favorite things about it was like when you ran or walked, your controller would like vibrate as he steps. It was
Yeah,
like
it's gung, gung, gung. Yeah.
Yeah, you actually felt like
There,
oh yeah. But
there's
anyway, that's coming like that looks amazing. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it.
Side tangent. The only thing I don't like about the first one is that the guard are like the same height as the Space Marines, which felt
Yeah.
weird. But whatever. Fun button masher. Looking forward. Yeah, absolutely. I love Tyranids. Tyranids and Space Marines are like my two favorite things in 40K.
The plot as well, like how there's the twist and stuff in the original story. Was
Yeah, don't
quite
give it
good.
away because people might be
Yeah.
starting it, you know, just in case.
But yeah,
totally.
it was like it was a good storyline. It was a good paced game.
Yep.
Yeah,
Fun
I only
action.
played it through once, but then I played the online version. But like,
Yeah.
I have fond memories of that game. That's good.
It's a great game. So, what were we talking about? You distracted me.
Oh, we were talking about the combined box sets of like if you kind of did, you said they did it with 40K and then Space Marines
Right.
or
Oh yeah.
it's always Space Marines and stuff.
So here's what I wanted to say. I'll wrap it up real quick, and I probably said this before, but hear me out, everyone. Okay. So regardless of what they do with 40K, I personally think that they should do like I don't know, something else versus not Space Marines versus X. Like Tyranids is probably going to be the new box set, right? Do Tyranids versus Eldar or whatever. I don't even care, right? Something semi good. Tau, whatever. Don't care. But, and then they're not going to do that. We all know that, right? Whatever. But I do think that they noticed how many Dominion boxes were left over.
Yeah.
And that was actually a good box. Like, I actually think it was a good box. I think that the Stormcast models in there were cool, and the Cruel Boys models were obviously really cool. But I think they're just kind of, I think people are burnt out, you know?
I think it was a twofold thing where one, yeah, it was just more Stormcast.
Yeah.
Now, if the box set had maybe had like the Chariot or something, or like
maybe
things like that in, it
Maybe.
might have been more popular.
It might have been, but we don't know. And I feel
the biggest
like
issue as
they
well
should
is
notice that.
I think when they produce these box sets, the box sets should be generic models only. Because the problem you had with the Stormcast side of like both sides of it, the Stormcast side is you had a named hero and two other heroes that you don't really use.
Yeah.
So basically you're buying the box set for the Fulminators and the Vindictors and then the Hammer Strike. Yeah. And that was it. And then the other side, so like when people buy box sets, they'll buy two of it because they can create half an army or something. But because of that, you were like half the Stormcast stuff was pointless buying a second box set.
Yeah.
The flip side of it was the fact of they released Cruel Boys, and it's not a dig at Cruel Boys, but they were an army no one was asking for. Like if it had been the Silent People, or if it had been something new that this wasn't another orc.
Yeah.
I think it would have been more popular. They could have still released Cruel Boys as a separate army later on.
Yep.
And they would have still sold and they would have been as popular as they are now. But I think the fact of it was in a box set where it's like, okay, so you can either get Stormcast, which people have already got a lot of Stormcast, and you're only buying one box because you don't want to buy a second because you can have all these extra stuff. And then you're getting these other guys that it's like, okay, they're destruction, they're orcs, but they're not orcs and they're not goblins. They're like in the middle. It was just kind of like, okay, well.
I actually, so first of all, Keith made another funny comment. Step 1, find Thunderhammer. Step 2, find Jump Bag. Step 3, comment. That's amazing. And he says, as a person who loved the Stormcast models, right, and fluff day one, can confirm burnt out and saying, why are you adding so much stuff? There's already too much stuff. Exactly.
They have like 20 heroes, I think, or something.
Oh, yeah. No, I think there's more than that. I legit think there's more than that.
It's insane.
And
like,
so
fair enough having unit selections and stuff, but yeah, there's too many Stormcast.
There's too many, like, dude, they already had, what do you call them? Like, Hammer Jerks, which were Retributors, right? Yeah. And they're like, okay, now we've got new Hammer Jerks.
Right, it's Retro Jerks.
I mean, and granted, they do look cooler, and like, I guess, you know, you could say that some of the original sculpts are suffering from that, the initial sort of thing, but like they can't support anyway. I was really thinking that it was going to be Skaven versus something like I heard a rumor before we saw the box that it was going to be Skaven versus Seraphon. I was like, oh god, like I'm going to have to buy so many copies of that one box. It's going to be, but anyway, I guess my silver lining, I my wallet. I ended up getting into Cruel Boys just because I like the models so much, even though like I play too many Johnny armies. I need more like Timmy armies like Iron Jaws. So like if I'd been thinking, I actually should have just done that, but I should have just bought into Iron Jaws and left the Cruel Boys to Alex and other people. But I still really like the models. The models are forever. The rules are temporary, and one day Gobsprak is going to have a decent war scroll. I believe that. So then So then we got with Lumineth. We got Zeech, right?
We got Zinch as well.
Yeah.
Which was like.
And they got a new Curseling model, which is amazing, by the way. Really cool model. And their book is really cool. Like, I don't really have a lot to add on it. I think they just kind of took away... First of all, they took away one of the few cancer rules left in Age of Sigmar, which was the Lord of Change... Or not Lord of Change. Kairos, where you can just change the dice. I actually don't think it was that bad. Like, I actually think that was one of the better ones. I didn't expect them to do that, but I like his new rule even better. So win-win. Like adding more to the Destiny dice is super fun. I love it. I love Kairos. I love Zeech. I don't know what else to say. Like their new book is cool. It's well-rounded. I can see a use for everything. I think Skyfires are slightly overpriced, but I don't know. Like I just don't have. Oh, Zangors aren't as good as they should be, but Zangors might get a rework when the Beast of Chaos book comes out, so I don't know. We'll see. I bet you they do get a rework, in fact. Yeah. So then, what was after Lumineth and the?
Then we had Ogres and Sons.
Right. Is that all we've had since then?
Yeah, because the Lumineth Zinch book came out so late. It was supposed to be summer, and it came out like 2 weeks after summer.
Oh wow, I didn't remember that.
But I mean, that's still like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. With Slade of Darkness, that's 11 new books this year.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, no, it's a good amount of books.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Ogres and Sons came out.
Ogres and Sons
got
came out.
The ugly Hunter model.
Yeah. Oh, I actually like that model. I feel like I must be in the severe minority. I guess he's, I know he's got a butterface or whatever, but like, but
back 2 secs.
Yeah, no problem. I like that model though. I guess I'm on my own to a large extent, and I don't play ogres, so maybe my opinion doesn't really matter. But yeah, so I'm just like, while Dale is stepping out, book printing got delayed because of world events. Yeah, absolutely, and that makes total sense. I was gonna say like I it felt like more at the time. That's all I'm trying to say is it felt like more was actually coming out than I guess actually came out. Maybe that's because I'm painting. I'm just like editing and trying to like keep up with stuff. And you know what? There was a lot of White Dwarf articles, right? Like I don't remember when the Seraphon one came out. I think that came out this year. I think the Beast of Chaos one came out this year. I can't remember. Was it last year? Why is my voice going up this high? So we had Beast of Chaos. Blades of Corn got a White Dwarf update. A very good one. Hedonites got a White Dwarf update. Oh yeah, Maggot King came out last year. It just feels like everything came out recently. I don't know about everyone else. Flesh Eater Court's got a big update in White Dwarf, and yeah, and Ossiarch I think got an update, but I don't remember. I don't think it was particularly, it wasn't much. Oh, we skipped over Sons of Behemat. Oh no, we didn't. They came out at the same time as Ogres. So
Yeah, I mean, as I was listening to you, as you said, like we're not touching on the White Dwarf articles. We're also
No,
not touching on like Underworld units or Warcry units that have been added in. Because
except for Grid
mainly 'cause I
Pack.
can't, yeah, mainly because we couldn't really find the information on them.
Yeah,
But yeah, because we've had some of those added in during the year too.
yeah. Okay. So then Ogres came out
Yeah,
um,
Ogres and Sons came out like a month ago, 2 months ago.
about a month ago, I want to say, and really cool release. Both of them, like everyone kind of got everything that they wanted. And I mean that from both sides. Like Giants kind of got sort of the NPE sort of side of things taken away. They're less they're less consistent, more Timmy like, which is I think good for because most people who play Giants probably are more on the Timmy side of things. I think like a lot of the cool like I don't want to put it like this too much, but like Alex is a huge fan of Giants. He's just a destruction guy. He liked the first book, you know, and then the new book came out, and he's like, yeah, I like this too. You know what I mean? It's got like a big fun smashy hammer and a giant
Mhm.
priest giant. Like, yeah. So I feel like if you're like a person like Alex, you're just like, hey, like they're both good. Like this is great. Um, you know, Warhammer Weekly summed up Sons of Behemoth pretty well. I believe it's the only book they made better by making it worse. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's less consistent, which means it's not as strong, um, but it's way more fluffy. It's got that crazy hammer rule where you just get one swing and then it does like 5d6 damage, which is just I think that's the second most fun rule in all of Age of Sigmar. The funnest rule is rolling 2d6 with Kragnos after he makes a charge on a monster. I'm just saying, if you haven't done that, you haven't truly lived. Okay, that is the most fun thing to do. But that is the second most fun thing is getting that. You're just going. You know what? I'm just gonna roll one dice like a crazy person, and then it hits. And if you haven't seen Alex play Mr. Taunts with his dragons, that is really fun. I won't say like too much of what happens. Alex has some spectacularly bad rolling in it, but he does get to roll the fun smashy hammer thing at least once. In fact, he did it at least twice. I remember he did it at least twice. And oh baby, like you need a cigarette after you make that roll. You're just like, oh man, I'm feeling sleepy. You know, um, what a great book that was. I really want to play Giants. I just don't have like a spare $1,000 and the time to paint them. But maybe one day. Maybe that could be a channel. We can try and save up for that on the channel. We can, you know. But both really great books. The Ogre's book is really awesome too. Monster Trucks are awesome. Everything about it is kind of awesome, I want to say. I think there's like one or two things that are not great in it, but I couldn't even tell you what they are. Like that's how awesome that new book is. Flavorful, really cool. Yeah, I don't really have anything to add on that. Is that the last thing? Oh no, and then we got Slaves. We got Slaves of Darkness.
Slaves was a funny one because like we'd been teased slaves back since like
Well,
the
it
General's
leaked.
Handbook or
It
something.
leaked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the picture is leaked. So then
Hmm.
like, okay, I guess we'll talk about it. We were getting it winter 2022, and then the whole freaking book leaked. So they're like, well, I guess we'll release the box set,
Yeah.
even though that clearly was not the plan.
And speaking of leaks, so like when books comes out, I usually get leaks a couple of weeks beforehand.
Yeah.
This year has been so weird for leaks because we've either had like I think like the Nighthorn and this like the Stage Departments we had it like months beforehand. The Nighthorn book we had like a month beforehand it leaked out. But then like a lot of the others there's been nothing. Literally like the day beforehand or like the week beforehand you're learning about it from the uh like AoS coach and stuff when they do the preview show because they're now on pre-order.
Yeah.
But like this is like the first year where like I've been watching those because I've known nothing about the army before it's been released because nothing's been. So it's kind of this like weird dynamic where it's either like nothing or the whole
Yeah.
book's come out.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah, and
before it'd be like, half the book would come out, or a couple of scrolls would be released, or someone would have the spells or the command abilities and they would come out, and it would trickle over time as you got closer. Like this time it was like everything or nothing.
yep. And I think that, and it was worse for 40K. Like the entire Tyranid book released,
Oh yeah,
I think
Suns
like
did as
five
well,
or
didn't
six
it?
weeks. Suns did. Um, the Corn book has been, and it's not out yet. It's still not out yet. And that whole, I mean, that one hasn't, like, we didn't see the actual pages, but we know most of the
Yeah.
rules, or World Eaters, I should have said, not Corn. Yeah, a lot of them did. I can't remember everything, but yeah. I have some ideas, GW. If you want, call me. I've got some ideas on how you can fix it, but yeah, I'm not partnered, so what do I care? Like, this is great for me, you know.
Yeah.
It's more coverage and stuff, and if we ever do get partnered, then we won't be able to talk about some
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean? But it'll still be good for the channel, obviously. And
Well, yeah,
uh,
I mean, I used to. So basically, people would send me leaks and I'd put them up on Twitter because I don't care.
yeah,
Like, I've not signed anything. If someone sends it to me
yeah,
and they're like, hey, look, you want to post this? Because, like, just don't say it's from me. Because a lot of the time they'd say, don't say it's from
don't
me,
say it's from
but you
me.
can post this.
Yeah,
And I would, because
yeah,
I don't care. But, like, there were times this year where it was different, where I think I got given a copy of the Daughters of Cain book early
yeah,
from someone and the August book. And it was like, but they said, it's like, hey, look, don't share this. Like, don't take screenshots, don't write it out, just keep it.
yeah,
And I tried to, and like I did, especially the ogre one. Like I think I spoke to Roman a little bit about it and be like, hey, look, this is between me and you because I trust him because I've known
yeah,
he's like a personal friend.
yep,
But like, yeah, it was like, you know, it's the first time again I've had that where it's like the leaks have really been condensed, and I don't know if it's because they've been given like more copies to play testers, and then the
yep,
playtesters, because they're playtesters, are having to be like, okay, if this leaks, we're going to lose our playtesting
yep,
kind of cover. And again, some of the podcasts channels I know, uh, um, rolling ones, they get some things early.
yep.
Not all of them, but they do. But again, they've been very tight with them, and they don't
They've
release
never leaked
anything until
anything.
yeah.
Yeah,
Then and they don't do anything until the previews are up, and then they'll post a video with a game. They
yeah,
don't do like a breakdown like AOS Coach does, and again, he's very strict on his timelines, and he doesn't, and which I appreciate. Like again, if like you give me a thing, you either tell me, hey, look, don't show this to anyone, or you make me sign something, I won't do it. Like
yep,
I'm fine with that.
yep.
It's when like you hear it
You
from
and
someone else and
you
they're like,
have
hey, look,
to, like,
yeah,
if we were to ever get it, we would have to. Like, I know this is not what
oh yeah,
the
yeah,
subject of the day, but we would have to, because like I actually know one of my closest friends writes professionally for 40K,
hmm,
and he was part of an outfit that had a leak on the Drukari
oh
codex.
yeah,
Yeah,
oh
and so like whoever owns the thing is liable for if they leak it. Like, GW makes you sign something that you are financially liable or whatever if this happens.
that,
So then they were like, you guys have to tell us or you're all fired. You know what I mean? Like,
wow,
because like they have to, right? Like
yeah,
they this company is like a major company for Warhammer 40K articles and strategy and whatnot.
yeah.
Probably the biggest or second biggest company, and so they were just like, if we don't figure this out, we'll lose everything. So you guys have
And
to
I
tell
get
us.
especially the fact of like, and I do understand in a way Games Workshop standpoint where
Yeah.
they release a load of miniatures
Yep.
for this game.
Yep.
They want you to buy the miniatures before you see the rules,
Yep.
hoping that the rules are going to be like, because again, like I think a lot of people forget like the the tournament players are maybe like 40% of Games Workshop sales.
I don't think they're that much.
Even if that, like
Yeah.
maybe even 20% is like,
I think they
because
were. I think they're less. Yeah, than
most of
20.
Games Workshop sales
Yeah.
is the 8 to 16-year-olds that are coming into the stores and dad's buying them a box set because the guy is like, hey, this will be a really cool thing, and that's your market.
Well,
Because
so
again, like Games Workshops don't give a damn about us going to Magic Stronghold to buy our models because
no.
we maybe do that every couple of months. We'll buy like maybe spend like, oh, we spent $400 this year on GW stuff unless you're starting a new army.
Yeah.
Where this kid's spending like, oh, you're getting like 20 kids coming in this week, and then because that kid then takes his stuff home and he's painting it, and his mate comes over and is like, oh my god, what's this? It's like, oh, this is thing. Do you want to play a game? They then go to the store and buy a couple of $100 worth, and then they go to the store and they're not buying it online. They're not trying to get the cheaper deal because they're just getting the instant like, oh, I want this. I want to play this, Dad. I've really enjoyed this intro game. Let me get this box set kind of thing. I work for Games Workshop. I know how it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and that's the thing with it is like, they want to sell the kits, and if the rules are leaking everywhere, to the extent of like like, I don't mind leaks. I'm quite happy with leaks, but I found it really strange when like a whole book leaks. Literally every single thing. And that's kind of like, okay, like I get like someone sending me a screenshot of a page, like dodgy camera, like potato cam kind of thing, or like, someone's like just like, oh, I got a page, all excitement. It's like, oh my god, this is exciting. We've seen a page of this book. But when like the whole book leaks,
what is going on?
Months before it's even released, it's kind of like, because one, it kind of, for a lot of like the Chaos players, like I can imagine a lot of them was like, well, there's no point playing this. We're getting a new book. We've already seen the rules. I want to play these rules, but I can't play them right now.
Yeah.
And two, it's just kind of like, it's just strange. Like, like everything coming out, and that's what I think the Warriors of Chaos for Age of Sigma was the worst that's kind of been for that.
The Warriors of Chaos. Oh, the Slaves of Darkness.
Slaves of Darkness, yeah.
Yeah.
Where like, again, it was kind of like this thing of like, oh, here's a picture, here's a background picture. It's like, and then people like hyped. It's like, oh my god, what's this? This is really cool. Why can't we see this? And then literally like a week later, the whole book, apart from maybe like 3 or 4 scrolls, came out.
Yeah, it was.
And it was like, oh.
It was more than that. It was like all the cultists. There's like 20 something cultists. Yeah. But like, I know you're being hyperbolic or whatever. But but then there was that, and then there was like a few other things like the endless spells and whatnot. But it was just like, I wonder what happened there. Like, I really want to know. Like, I don't even know if GW knows, but like, I really want to know. Oh, by the way, Keith said something cool about like, he was saying about just find like your favorite like WWE wrestlers. I'm presuming is what he means, and then 3D print them to use as models. Yeah, like we actually have a friend who's planning on doing that. I think he has like the toys, like the old like rubber toys.
Oh yeah, I was gonna do the Daughters of Behemoth and basically find some cool like STL fires for like proxy Daughters of Cain models and just like blow them up in 3D print.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that would be cool. I wanted to do like I like the GW models, but they don't blow me away, which is part of the reason. Mean, like if they done Frost Giants like or something that, like, I'd be all in.
If you wanted to do a cheap Sons of Behemoth army, go to Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, toys, totally. Yeah.
And like look at his like Zodiac range and stuff, and you could buy like 4 different Zodiac signs and repaint them.
Wow.
And base them, and you will have a cool looking army. Are they the
same height, roughly?
Oh, pretty much, yeah. They're usually like 10 to 12 inches high.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could make a cool looking army with those. And, like if you wanted to go cheap, I mean, if you want to go cheap, you don't even repaint them. You just put them on bases and there you go, kind of thing. But don't expect to play it at some tournaments.
Yo, Keith is firing on all cylinders tonight. Those Slaves to Darkness leaks were terrible. They do not respect the art form of taking badly angled photos with half the page cut off. Yeah, you forgot
there's a thing about like zooming in on the picture and is that strength 4 or strength 5? Try to read it. It's like, is that Ren 2 or Ren? Like, what is that?
Honestly, like most photos that come out, I wonder if they're like. The book is in someone's pants and they're trying to take it inside their pants. Like I don't understand like what the explanation is.
I kind of feel like it's someone's holding it. Like they go into the Games Workshop store and the guy's like, hey, I have the new book. Would you want to have a look at it? Like, and they're like, okay, cool, yeah, and like look at it, don't take pictures, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like the guy's like looking at it, and then they're like waiting for the staff member to be distracted so they can whip the camera and just like take one quick picture because they can't put it down and take a picture and stuff.
You might be onto something.
Most of the time you see fingers in the pictures and stuff.
You might be onto something. Like, remember how, I don't remember who it was. There was a YouTuber who does painting stuff and
Hmm.
there's two of them, and they I don't know, I always confuse the two. But he went into Forge World, and they were doing like a special preview for Horus Heresy um, for like Vince and a bunch of people, and I guess he took photos of stuff that had not been shown yet, and he posted it on Instagram, and it was only like some heads or heavy
Yeah.
weapons or something like that, but then he's just like cut off permanently from GW, right? I wonder if it's like one of those situations where they were like they don't want people to know,
Yeah.
but I mean, I legitimately do have ideas for how Games Workshop can stop that, um, but yeah, uh, I'm not on their payroll or whatever. I'm not partnered, so whatever, man. Anyway, okay, so I think we've gone through the whole year now. Oh, actually, I mean, I guess quickly, Slaves of Darkness, the new book is freaking amazing. It might be the best
It's
book they've ever made.
Yeah, so like they've made them a lot more dynamic to play. They
Yep.
have a lot of power in different ways. Like,
Yeah.
as Eric said, they can be whittled down with range and stuff because they have no real
And they
range
don't
check.
have they don't have power
Yeah,
projection either through
but
spells
like
or yeah.
but that's what you want is like walls of like armored guys coming at you that are
It's
gonna beat the living snot into you.
perfect for the fluff.
Yeah,
Like that's what they always should have been.
yeah,
Um, good internal balance, a lot of
yeah.
utility, especially with the different
Oh, and the new
cultists.
models as well, like the Demon
Oh my
Prince, the
god.
Chosen,
Yeah,
like
the
some of the new,
Ogroid.
even like you think about some of um the Warcry groups that can be used in them, like the cultists.
Yeah.
Like they might all be for you, but there is probably at least one or two cultist squads that you will like the models for. Like
Oh yeah. And
definitely.
and they all have different war scrolls and they all have different like sort of
Yeah.
niche things you can do. Some of them are clearly better than others, like the Snake guys and the Corvus Cabal, whatever they're called. Um, but like still, like what a
Yeah, and again, a
fantastic
lot of people.
and the banners, like that's my favorite thing in that. It's like the
Yeah.
new banners, man. Like there's so many cool
I,
things
I
about them.
hope more armies get that as a thing because I think
Me
that's something.
too.
One of the big things I miss from Warhammer Fantasy is being able to customize
Yeah,
your
upgrades.
heroes
Yep.
and units better. Like I get like, oh, you can take an artifact, but it's like no, it's like I want to be able to buy like certain like I want to be able to put this guy on a horse or not on a horse. Like my
Yep.
my enlightener. I want to put my enlightener on a horse if I want to and pay an extra whatever points it is
Yep.
because it means I've then got the mobility and stuff. It's like I really miss. And part of that is yeah, being able to give units banners because again, it used to only be like the elite kind of units that would get them. But I
And
think it's
and you had to
definitely
pay
something that
points.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
But I
kind
think
of
it's definitely something the game's missed
yeah.
having. So
That's
yeah,
one
hopefully it's a
thing that I
thing.
wish they would add to AOS is points upgrades for stuff. And it doesn't have to be banners every time, right?
Yeah,
It could be whatever. But like they added that with like Tyranids, like they had like these what are they called? Adaptations or whatever, and you could just pay like you pay like
yeah,
20 points to give something synapse or like
yeah.
30 points to give it dermic
I
symbiosis
also
or
wish that you could buy units in fives as well. So like I want to like if I want 25 witch shells instead of 30 witch shells, I think that should be a thing as well because the problem with when you have to buy 10 is like so many times now with your army list you ends up being oh I'm now 5.0 over. I now need to
yeah,
drop 10 witch shells and then take something I might not
totally.
want as much. When
Yeah.
before you could be like okay I can drop 5 witch shells
And
and
it
then still be able to have the list of one. I'm only down 5 witch shells, not 10.
yeah.
And then that last points I can either go for an endless spell or I can use those last points for the triumph bit.
Yep.
But yeah, I kind of like the idea of like I can only take things in 10
Yeah.
kind of is a bit me.
Or the minimum like yeah, like I totally agree. And like
I still
Eric
think you can have a minimum, like having a minimum unit size
oh
of
no,
10
you
for
need to
witch
have a
elves is fine. But
minimum
yeah,
when you start. Like
yeah,
the squad needs to have at least 5 or 10 or whatever you want to
yeah,
make it,
yeah,
but then maybe make a smaller thing where you can add on,
yeah,
you know, like fantasy was, like 40k still
yeah,
is, because list building isn't quite as fun in AOS as it is in 40k, and that's
yeah.
the reason because there's not these little point upgrades you can do. But
Yeah, I used to like trying to like I'd have 14 white lions instead of 15 because
Yeah,
then it means I could then have another unit like up to full strength and stuff. So yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, okay.
Okay, I think that's us. I think we're good.
One thing,
One more fun. One more
one
thing.
more thing, okay? And if you guys have any comments or whatever, like any ideas, but I wanted us both to pick one thing that was our favorite thing of the entire year.
Looncourt.
Grimcrack's Loon Court.
Grimcrack's Looncourt.
I agree.
it's, it's like
Actually,
not only
actually,
are they my
you know what?
favorite model. Okay, go for it.
Sorry, it's actually Slink Skittershank, but it's basically the same
Okay,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not only is it like my favorite models of the year, and I like Stupids. I like Krabby when he came out. Like he was one of my favorite things. And then
Dune Claw was last year.
yeah, no, but like that's what I'm saying. I like that sort
Oh
of thing.
yeah, totally.
It's like when the Shank Goblin came out, the Shank Grot came out for things and stuff.
Yeah.
But like it not only is it like a cool unit, I can't wait to paint. Like they actually came out with some pretty decent rules once. And the same with Skittershank.
Yep.
Like they're good models and they're actually a unit that you can use in AoS. Like a
Yep.
lot of the time, like Zarbags, no one really uses them because it's not a good unit.
No, you
like,
just use them as a
a
proxy.
lot of the time, yeah. And like a lot of the time the units come out and they're like, I'll use these as champion models or something, but
Yep.
like they're not that good. But I think Morgwaves was one of the first that came out when the unit was free and you just paid for the hero because that was kind of like stupid. Like you're paying 85 points for the hero and then you got the unit for free. That was kind of like, okay, that's a good cost thing. But then they changed that.
Yeah.
But like yeah, the Skaven one and then the Gits one, they've been good models and they're usable.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
So
honestly, the Skaven models are almost all perfect. Like you don't even like if you're gonna proxy one of them like as a deathmaster, you don't even know which one to pick. Like you got the
yeah.
superhero pose handed sword guy. You got the smoke bomb guy, which I think I like even more. Like there's those models are absolute fire. Good they've got they've got good rules. They've got perfectly good rules. They're just a little overpointed, but who cares? Like that can change in any
Yeah.
GHB. And Keith says, yeah, his number one is getting Nighthaunt getting good rules to match their awesome models. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Nighthaunt. Whenever I used to play them, we're like, "Oh, it's Nighthaunt. Okay, this is gonna be one-sided." And
Yeah.
then the new book came out. It's like, damn, like I actually want to play Nighthaunt right now.
You did. You
So,
almost
yeah,
bought it
I
for
did. I
Nighthaunt.
did. I did think about like free printing an army and stuff, but I was
Yeah.
just like, no, I kind of went against it. But they're definitely a like an interesting. They're not like a too powerful book, but they're a very very interesting piece.
They're like at the top end of that, hey?
Yeah.
And maybe they might be too good when Bounty Hunters goes away. We'll have to kind of wait and see because there's so much infantry in that book, right?
Yeah.
But they also don't have like monster kind of durable heroes as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So and they got bodyguards. So I don't know, man. But like he said, like yeah, I mean, my son has the army, and it's not like he's into competitive stuff. He's 11 for God's sake.
Yeah.
But like we have Andy. We know a lot of people who like Nighthaunt.
Yeah. Braden
And
has Nighthaunt. Yeah.
oh, does he? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's super awesome, and like they're one of the more popular armies. So it was about time that they got some good rules. They never had good rules from they came out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Grimgasp were good for a minute, but they were better in.
And we got to do the Night Honk thing as well. The Night Honk,
You
which
think?
kind of went a little bit viral.
Thankful for Night Honk. I can
Yeah.
understand
Night
that.
Honk.
Definitely a chance swinging army. You roll hot, you get good results. It's true,
Yeah.
but then there's also like the ability to like multi-charge stuff, and like you can kind of like adjust your odds based on that, and solid play. Like they really reward. They're more of a Johnny army for sure, but like I think it was Keith who was saying earlier they really reward that kind of play. They're one of those armies where you play against it the first time and go, wow, okay, that is what that army does. Your second time against it is more fun. Yeah, it's totally true. Exactly. You're like, I gotta. Although, like, even when I was playing it the last time with Deepkin, I'm just like, I don't know what to do about the Cruciator, man. He's got the bodyguard unit around him, and all of my 2 damage is becoming shapoopy, and my my rend, which I'm paying a lot of points for, is also worthless. So it's just like, hmm, yeah. But it doesn't. I mean, I ended up squeaking that game out, but like, yeah, it was. I agree though. Like at the end of the day, they're. I don't think they're too powerful. By the way, I actually don't think that. Like, don't misunderstand what I'm saying in any way, shape, or form. I think they're perfectly fine, and I don't think I don't think like any of the new armies other than Stormcast dragons when they originally came out were that bad, to be honest. So that was kind of where we started off. Was this year has been so good for balance and rules writing overall. Even if some stuff lacks some flavor, the rules writing has been, yeah, it's been really great. So, and Nihon don't need a nerf at all. In fact, I just want to see them buff a few things, like buff or no, you know what? Craven Throne and Scriptor Mortis, just leave them.
It's
Just
kind of interesting that my closing thing on that
yeah,
is the two things that made the game a bit more controversial this year were
yeah,
not from an army book. One was from the General's Handbook, which was Bounty Hunters,
yep.
and the other one was Kronspine. Now, can you imagine if you didn't have those in this year, how much of a position the game might have
Oh
been
yeah.
or changed? Like,
Oh man.
not having Kronspine being a thing or Bounty Hunters, I think it would have been amazing. I think it would have been really good. I
I
think it would have been a solid year
and
more than it was.
it's so true. I don't I actually like that they hear me out, everyone. I don't like bounty hunters. It's the worst part of this year, easily the worst part of this entire year. But, right? But I like that they went for it. I like that they made something. They were like, you know what? Let's do this is kind of cool, right? And they tried it because like the
Especially
command
if they turn
ability
around.
and the spell, like,
Yeah,
ugh,
I think if they turn around and do change it in the new year to something else, then that will make people a lot more comfortable. Where it's like,
yeah,
okay, we only have to put up with this for 6 months.
yeah.
That's a thing. I think right now because it's weird that they put the
We
season
don't
thing
know.
into this time,
Yeah,
but then they've not clarified how long a season is. It's like,
yeah.
okay, is a year going to be a season, and then it's going to be season two in June 2023, and we've got another 6 months to put up with bounty hunters. That's a big thing. So because we don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's where the line of like, as I said, like if we turn around in January, February, and they're like, hey, Bounty Hunters is gone and we now have this, and it's like, great. So we only have to deal with this for 6 months, and then it changes.
So, and this is what I'll say about that. So about bounty hunters, finally, like, so I do like that they tried it, as I said, but I wish they had kind of realized what it was earlier and kind of gone,
Yeah.
you know what, we went a little too far, so we're gonna change bounty hunters, right? And then, but yeah, like when man, if we have to deal with this for another 6 months, like I think what we're literally gonna see, like if nothing, if we don't hear anything in January, I think we're gonna just start seeing tournaments go. You know what? We're just going to, what's it? We're gonna make our own rule. Just no bounty hunters. Just
Yeah.
delete that from your book. You know,
Yeah.
maybe even what's the other one called? The one expert conquerors.
Yeah.
I could see them even getting rid of that. Best year for balance. More and more games, Braden says, are ending with close points. It's so true. Yeah, and like Dale said, like I think Bounty Hunters is just the one thing that stopped that. And like he said, the only thing I like about the Incarnate so far is the new Lumineth fluff, where the elemental spirits, Cow and Fox, view them as their uncivilized cousins who need help and guidance. That's amazing. I didn't know about that. And then Braden said, "I swear bounty hunters should have only been." Yeah, that's true. I agree, but I still think it's too good because like some armies, you know what I mean? Like they're taking them anyway.
Yeah.
Like Blade Guys Revenants or Ogre Gluttons or whatever. I don't know. I think bounty hunters is yeah. It that was
It,
but
it it penalized the weaker armies
yeah,
that were mainly destruction. It penalized destruction because your army bonus is your wounds
and
because you don't
Skaven.
really have much armor and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah, you don't have much armor, you don't have much ward saves. Your army kind of buff is your wounds, and then they're suddenly making that no longer a thing.
yeah.
So, and because those armies weren't already kind of a good army, they were kind of lesser armies, and it's like, okay, becomes a thing.
Totally. And Braden says, what about sixes doing double damage? Like that would have been great. That would have been fine. I
Yeah,
really like the +1 to wound
yeah,
idea against Galatian veterans. So it helps you kill them, but it's not just like this ultra buff specifically to models that like Dale said, destruction models that use their wound count as their armor. Like they don't have armor, right? Cruel Boys, what are they called? Gut Rippers. They use their wound count. They have 2 wounds instead of 1, but they have a terrible save, right?
yeah,
+1 to it should be a +1 to wound rolls against GV. Yeah, that's what I kind of wanted. Yeah, like, but this is what we got. So, like, yeah, I feel like in the new year, if there's no ejector button on bounty hunters, then I think I think we might see tournaments have sort of custom rules and
yeah.
whatnot. But, but yeah, man, it's been a good year. Overall, though, like I don't want to end on a sour note. I really think that overall, I think it's the most balanced fantasy wargaming experience that GW has literally ever created.
Yeah, I'm excited for
So,
2023 in a
me
minute
too.
because they're already like I think there's going to be a ton of books coming out. We've already kind of been teased the roadmap up until summer again.
Yep,
And there's also the hopes of like the new journal handbook, and yeah, I think it's going to be hopefully a good year.
me too. I agree.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to the new Gits book. Um,
yeah, it's going
and
to wreck everyone's hobby.
and yeah, I mean, I'm already grinding. I've got 10 spiders that are done and 3 trolls that are done, and I just need to finish my what's it called? My fungoid cave shaman.
Yes. Yeah, we were Keith. So before this, we were like, okay, so if we do like 45 minutes to an hour, that's good. I'm good with that. So
Yeah.
we've done nearly two
Yeah,
hours now. So
exactly. Yeah.
that's that's
Yeah.
fine.
Like Dale was like, I'm so tired. Like I think an hour, and I was just going, yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah.
I'm right there with you.
As long as people enjoy it, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we're having fun and it's been great. We really appreciate you keeping the comments section alive and going. Goat man, yes, brother. Yes,
Yeah.
my mushroom brother. Um, so yeah, but I'm super excited for the new year. Um, I do have we are planning shows for the 20th and the 27th, I think, are the next 2 Tuesdays. But we don't know for sure. Around the holidays, things are a little bit more hectic,
Yeah.
obviously. So yeah, but yeah, insert maniacal laughter here. Indeed. Oh man, I cannot wait for Gits. I am having so much fun painting them, and yeah, I'm super excited. So just played against IDK with his Gits, lost by 2 points. Yeah, Gits versus IDK is actually a fantastic game. That's a super good matchup. I really like it. Um, but yeah, I think that's it. I can't think of anything that we've forgotten.
Nope.
So, okay,
I'm gonna go for a bath and then go to bed. So
nice. Yeah.
thank you everyone for joining in.
Yes. Thanks everyone for watching, and yeah, and we'll see you guys hopefully next week.
Oh, thank you, Cookie.
Thanks, Keith. Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, seriously though, thank you guys for watching.
Bye.
See ya.